Okay, thanks, Charlene. My name's Jamie McCutcheon. I'm with Rymar Waterworks. And also we have on the Zoom call here today, Thomas Strange. Thomas is one of the inventors and founders of Digital Sightbox. So he and I may tag team a little bit on the presentation here. And this is not going to be an hour unless you ask a lot of questions. So we're going to go through this, but we'll be informative and get into as many details as you like, but intended basically to introduce Tennessee to this new technology. So with that, Digital Sightbox is a new program, and it is relatively simple. It's a sign with a QR code that's intended to replace the traditional sight job box. So, we've all seen pictures like this or seen these on sites where the job box is just not working well, right? It's kind of common to have wet plans, missing documents, got knocked down. Occasionally you have the dreaded wasp nest in there when you open it up. So any of us in construction have dealt with a variety of issues with the traditional site job box. Thomas is a SEPSCI inspector, erosion control inspector, and just kind of after making many trips to sites and experiencing those issues, said, there's got to be a better solution here. Time to bring this into the digital age. So he and Neil Fogelman came up with a digital version to accomplish what the on-site job box is intended to accomplish. And so, like I said, the problems are they have limited capacity. They're not a very effective communication tool. To be honest, a lot of times stuff gets put in them and rarely gets opened back up. It's not really a good way to transfer information to others. Often get wet. I don't know how many times people have unrolled plans and not been able to read them because the ink smeared because it gotten wet. Obviously, no remote access. And just keeping it up with the latest set of plans, even if they are in there, sometimes you're not sure which ones are the latest, which ones are not. So I had some polls set up, and I just realized that it's not my Zoom account, it's Charlene's. So you're not going to be able to answer these. But, like I said, we got a fairly small group. So if anybody wants to unmute and say, what your experience has been with the traditional site job box and what specific problems you have, I'll be glad to try to point out how this can help solve those as we move along today.
I'll jump up. One of the problems that you didn't mention that often occur is that I've got to get those twice weekly inspection forms
Right.
back at some point. If it's 6, 12, 18-month project, I can't leave them in there that long. You run out of space and they're all folded and crumpled and this. And then I got to go try to get them to my scanner and folded and prim and proper in order to even get them in the scanner without destroying the $10,000 machine. So
You're
that's an
dead
additional
on.
problem.
Yep. Absolutely. We've all experienced that. Anyone else have anything they want to chime in on? All right. Well, Thomas, I'm gonna let you, if you can, unmute. I think we've got a real world example where Thomas and Neil had, this is kind of one of the projects that led to the creation of Digital Sightbox.
Yeah, how y'all doing, guys? I'll give y'all one that actually happened even more recently than this. We had a sight box that was in the back of a site. I think it was at like phase 3 or where phase 3 is going to commence. And so we're still on phase 1. All of the inspection reports were getting put in that sight box way in the back of the job. The county rode the job, but they only rode, the part of the phase that's being worked on. Didn't realize the box was out there. Had issued stop or notice of violation for no SEPSCIs on site for not having a box out there. And they eventually got issued a stop work order and a cease to stop construction, and they had to pull their crews and sites off for probably, I think, 8 or 9 days. And the developer was not too happy about that. In a situation where we had the site box with the SEPSCIs in there, I mean, this wouldn't have taken place.
So, yeah, I'm sure others have similar sites. One of the other examples, they had a county shut down a site because the inspection reports were unreadable. And I recognize that. I know we have a lot of regulatory folks. I think we do, based on the sign up list, have regulatory folks on the call. I didn't mention at the beginning of this. This was set up specifically because we reached out to TDEC and said, hey, we've got this new technology. We'd like to make sure Tennessee's okay with it before we start telling engineers and inspectors and contractors about it. And TDEC asked us to get a TNSA talk set up. So I appreciate Charlene setting this up so that we could have this discussion. I don't, based on the names I'm seeing, I'm not sure if the TDEC folks are on here today or not, but I know at least a couple of them were signed up. So like I said, it's a very mobile friendly as well as desktop friendly product. So you can do document sharing easily to share and manage, as well as it's got messaging. Obviously you can access it rain or shine. You can access it just as well in your office as you can in the field. Very cost effective. We'll talk about the cost of it here when we wrap up, or a little bit later in. And again, just a real world example. It's as simple as getting that post set up that the other box sits on, but just screwing in our weather resistant sign with the QR code. So another real world example, we had a storm drain that wasn't installed properly because the latest set of plans weren't on site, and just was not communicated effectively to the contractor that there was a change. And it just didn't occur on site to get it done right. End up being pretty expensive to have to replace it and fix that. So our product, this is what it looks like. We'll open up the actual website in a few minutes and show you that. But this is what you'd see. You have all your projects in one place. You have a user list, so it's very easy to invite users, and you can set specific users to access specific projects. Obviously, I'm sure we have some consultants on here that work with different clients, different contractors, different inspectors. They need to be looking at the projects that are related to them and not others. So you can manage that. When you set your project up, you put in a latitude and longitude. We connect that to NOAA, and so we generate an automated rain log. Now, you may still need to have your on-site rain gauge, depending on your MS4. And we are also working, and Tom's hoping not letting the cat out of the bag, but we're working on an on-site way to put in basically an electronic rain gauge on site that will tie into our software, and so give you a very accurate, local rainfall.
Yeah. I'll jump in real quick, Jamie.
Sure.
If anyone's familiar with like the Bresser rain gauges or total stations that you could buy for residential use in your backyard, we're gonna figure out how to make our software compatible with a system similar to that. So you could nail that onto the side of the 4x4 as well, where your rain gauge traditionally goes. However, this would automatically populate to the rain log within your digital site box. So there would still be no need to go out and physically check it XYZ.
Yeah. I'll be honest, that rain gauge is good. But if you hadn't been to the site in a week, you don't know which day it rained a half inch, which day it was a quarter, and which day it was 2. So, very helpful to have that. We also have a way to secure your box. So typically the folders, you're going to want some to have public access for your plans and your SWIP and your inspections, but there may be information that you don't need the public access to, but you need your on-site folks to be access to. A good example is we have some home builders that are looking at this, and home builder ABC doesn't want home builder XYZ coming out and stealing their elevations and plans and building plans, right? And so there's ways to put secure boxes in here as well as accessible boxes or folders. Again, we provide plenty of storage, so you get storage based on the number of sites you have. I don't believe we've had anyone come close to using up their storage yet. You can upload a wide variety of documents. You get PDFs, Word, Excel, image files. I think you can probably put AutoCAD files on there too. It's got a built-in PDF viewer, so you can actually view the files and edit the files on site through your device. And one of the neat things about the program is it has a messaging function. So it timestamps who looked at what, who uploaded what, who downloaded what. If you edited and saved it as something else or made edits, it'll timestamp that. And you can put messages to other folks for the site on there and even mark them important so that they get an urgency to them. So, hey, we got silt fence down in this location. Need to make sure we get that corrected before the rain hits tomorrow. So good communication tool as well. We also, and I know we have a lot of municipal regulatory folks here. One of the big things that Digital Sightbox does is we give free accounts to all municipal users. So it's a little bit different where you sign up instead of, do that. You go to the login button on the website. You can go through the homepage, or basically any page will have this login or sign up button up top. When you click the login button, it'll go to here where you normally would put in your username and password, and you'd log in yourself or create an account. But down here at the bottom is municipal users. Start here. And so municipal users then pick their location, just put in their name, job title, their email, select their own password, and sign up. And then once they do that, when another engineer, consultant, contractor creates a project, that project automatically shows up in their account under that location. The other thing we do, a lot of times an MS4 may be a bigger area, and you may have some cities or towns in that MS4 that aren't the MS4. So you can say, hey, the MS4 is, and I'm not going to know Tennessee very well to be able to get this right, but let's say it's Knox County, and then there's a smaller town inside Knox County that's not an MS4, but they've got their own building department and needs access. So we can have it, dial down to the cities and towns under the county, and you can put in multiple locations when you set up your job, and both of them will get access to the folders that are set up for that location. Pricing wise, we have basically 3 different tiers. So we typically start with a 10 site package. It's about $150 per site, so $1,500 for the year covers that. If you get over 50 sites, the price drops to 100. If you go over 100 sites, it drops to 75. Sure, those of you that deal with this know that that is far less than the site of an on-site, the cost of an on-site box. The your typical on-site box itself is going to be anywhere 80 to 100, $150. When you by the time you pay for a plan set to be done at $2 or $3 a sheet, I think it seems like it now costs, that inspection report, all the inspections, and then during a long project, you've got to replace all that 2 or 3 times. It can really add up to several hundred, if not thousands of dollars. So even if you're paying the max 150 a site, significant savings for your project. Again, this was one of my other audience polls that doesn't work, but just curious as to the different roles for the project here. How many folks are in, are the contractors, engineer, consultants, regulatory, or inspectors? Like I said, we're not going to come close to filling an hour. So if any of you want to give a little quick shout out to what your role is, we'd be glad to hear. And that way we kind of tailor the rest of this to those specific uses.
They can also put something down in the chat too if
Yep.
you can't unmute.
Yeah, a couple of people have added some stuff there. So all right. So yeah, if anybody wants to type in while we're going, well, I'll keep an eye on that and go to it. So let's kind of dive into how we specifically use it. So first off is your user management. So there's really 4 different types of users. We got your municipal user, which you've already touched on. You have your admin, which if you select person as an admin, they have full access to the project. They can add folders, they can add users, they can upload, they can download, they can edit, they can do whatever they need to do there. If you want to give someone access, but maybe limit that access, you can set them as a manager. A lot of time this is maybe the inspector or the contractor, where you may not want them adding folders or adding users, but they can view project, they can upload, and they can download. They can't add projects to your account. They can't add folders, or they can't add users. And then we have a view only option too. So the view only is a lot of times if someone goes to the site and scans the QR code, they need to be able to see what's in the box. They can get access to it simply by, if they don't have an account, registering their account, then creating their username and password while they're on site, and they'll have view only access to the folders that are not locked. Then next step is user permissions per project. So you go into each project and based on the users you have set up in your account, you can decide which of those users have access to each specific project. So you'll do that as each project is set up and you go along. But you know, a lot of times it'll be the same folks. Say you're a consulting company, you know, you'll have several people in-house that have access, but then you'll have different contractors, maybe different inspectors, different clients that have access to each different project. To create a project is really simple. Just on your home page, you hit the little plus button. It pulls up a little screen. You enter your project name. You set the location. You just got a map in here. You scroll into it, set along the location. That will set your latitude and longitude. And then you can set your location as well as far as like your county, city, etc. under this add button here to set your municipality. The municipality is not automatically set by the by your map. It's just that's just your latitude and longitude.
And Jamie, it looks like a lot of these people in here are regulators.
Yep.
So a lot of this stuff for the regulators and municipalities, you won't really be creating any of the projects. This stuff will automatically populate on your homepage for your projects. Whenever they select the last part of creating a project, whenever they select the municipality, that populates automatically to your page. So there's no creation or legwork on your end. It'll each day you log in, you'll hopefully see new projects.
Yep. Then you can create subfolders within each project. So we typically see a subfolder for the plans, permit folder for the SWIP, folder for inspections, maybe a permit folder for photos, but whatever you need to put in there, it's just like Windows Explorer. So very intuitive as far as creating that. And then you can you know, create your name for it, you know, set all this other information basically the same as your project. Then once you're in that folder, you click the upload button to add information to it. And then you just simply go to your computer, select what you want to upload, whatever file type it is, simply upload it, and it's in there. Like I said, very, very similar to like your Windows Explorer. As I mentioned, there is a PDF viewer. And not only that, but it's an editor. So you can open it on your device in the field, you know, see the plans, add edits and notations to it, and then save it back in there. So everybody that's affiliated with the job and has access to the job box, digital job box, can get access to it. And then, like I mentioned, there is a message log. So it time and date stamps every action within Digital Sightbox. So, you know, if you're the consultant and you send the contractor a message that, hey, we got a problem and you need to go look at this inspection report, you can tell if he looked at the inspection report. If you're a regulator, you can look in and see who did what there. So it's gonna, you know, it's gonna track things for you. So it's good, easy to say, yes, that was seen. Yes, they're aware. Oh, no, they haven't seen that yet. We need to make sure they've seen it. And then again, for your messages, you can mark them as important. And so you can let that party responsible know that they need attention for that specific item. Again, we mentioned locking folders. So you simply set a PIN for your company account. And in order to get into that folder, they'd have to have your PIN. So you just share that to the people that you need to have it. You know, those that don't need it, don't have it. And so you've got a level of security there for your project folders. Then, as we mentioned, the rain log. So in your project, there's a kind of hard to see here, but there's a little button up top here that's the rain log. Simply click that. Looks like a little cloud, and it's connected to NOAA and Era 5, and it'll compile the rain log for your site. So obviously, you know, we're in the Southeast. Rains can be scattered a little bit. So you may not get exactly the same thing, but probably more reliable than that on-site rain gauge in 99% of the cases. We've added a ability to archive projects, and so the signs are reusable. So, you know, let's say that you bought the sign, you finished up the project in 6 months, but you've already got paid for a year. You want to go ahead and take that sign and use it on another project. You simply archive that project, and then you just assign that sign to the next project. So you get your full year out of your subscription on every project. Also, our signs are customizable. So a lot of the clients that are on board here now have said, hey, this is a great way to add some extra marketing to the site. So obviously that job box is usually right up front when you first come in. So we can customize, add your logo, name, custom colors, etc. With your sign. Some of the home builders want like a home site number added or address where they can write that in themselves. So pretty much whatever you need, we can get creative. We even had some people ask about different size signs. The standard is a 12-inch wide, 18-inch tall sign. But if you needed something bigger, we could do that. We've got some home builders that have looked at using this on each lot and maybe putting it in a window, so we could give you something that you can print out on something that can stick on a window or a label that would work that way. And that's just about wrapping up. Like I said, almost 30 minutes. I said you've got to ask a lot of questions. Last question is, would you prefer to have the digital site box on your project over the traditional site job box? And anybody wants to chime in or add that in the chat if you think this is something worthwhile and that you would like to see Tennessee implement as far as an option for you. We're certainly not saying it's the only option. There are some places, I know we've got some areas that are rural and cell phone service may not work great, right? If you can't get a signal, then this may, that QR code may not be readily accessible. So there's going to be some times that this is not the right solution. But in most cases now, we're starting to have pretty good signal spread around. There's not many people, probably almost none, that don't have a device that they carry with them that can scan a QR code. That's extremely rare. There may be some old timers out there, hopefully not offending anybody on the call, that still got a flip phone that, won't do that, but they're few and far between. So, yep. And last slide is just, we'd love to hear back from you. So got a couple of questions coming in on the chat. So we have had, multiple entrances. So typically what we would do is we would get you the same QR code on a sign. So you just let us know, hey, I need, right, Thomas, or am I saying that wrong? Actually, you can assign, I said that wrong. You can assign multiple signs to the same project.
I didn't see the question pop up on my screen. What was the question exactly?
It says, how about multiple signs for different entrances?
For sure. Yes, sir. Yeah. So we have some bigger developments that are acres, and yes, sir, they have 4 or 5. I think we have one site out here in Greer that has I think 5 signs on it for each different location, for each different construction entrance. I'm sorry.
Yeah, and you can assign multiple signs to the same project.
Yes, sir.
Right?
Yes, sir.
Yeah.
Yes, sir. Yeah.
So, and the question came in, how do you update documents from the field? So I'm not exactly sure how you're asking that. So I'll let
I don't know.
Thomas answer.
I'm gonna roundabout. I don't know exactly what you mean, but if I wanted to annotate a set of plans and edit something, correct something, I would save that document as I annotated it and re-upload it as a revised set. Because what we don't want to do is overwrite the original document with a bunch of annotations. So that original document will always stay there, but you can click on it, edit it, do whatever you need to, download it, and then re-upload that right there from your phone or tablet, whatever you're doing it on.
Yeah. Hey guys, this is Lance. That was our question here from Gallatin. We kind of have that SWIP as a living document in that mailbox, and then when we're on site talking to the contractor, we'll make field changes right then and there. We'll discuss field changes right then and there with the contractor. Small stuff, adding a swell here, adding a little bit of silt fence here.
Right.
We just mark that up with a pin in the field and agree to the contractor with it, stick it back in the mailbox. So they're really small markups that don't necessarily need to go back to the engineer, need to go back in, but we're just trying to see how to incorporate those kind of small markups that are on a living document like that.
Yeah, so if you traditionally wanted to still do it that way, there'd be legwork involved. You'd have to scan it and re-upload it. But what I would do is probably upload the document as its file type. So if it's a Word doc, I'd upload it as a Word doc. And for me, I have editing capabilities on my phone. So if there was a section that I wanted to edit, I would download it, open it, edit it, and re-upload it from my phone. As long as your tablet or phone, whatever you were on, had the capability of hosting a Word document, which most any iPhone or Android has the capability to
Yeah.
do such.
Yeah.
Is
And
there
on
any kind
plan,
of built-in PDF editor? Like could you open
it is.
Yes,
Yes,
sir.
it's
Yeah.
yep. Yes, it's a built-in PDF editor as well. So you can get in. Here, it's always risky to go live when you're doing something, but I'll share real quick the actual doc. So this is the website. So it's just digitalsightbox.us when you go in. And so I'm going to log in here. I actually have multiple accounts because I have different companies that I do work with. So I'm going to start with that one. If Google gets my password in here. Yeah. So these are a couple of sites that we have. So let's go say we go to that one and you went to the plans, then go to the PDF. And we've got the full plan set in there. And so if we wanted to make an edit, here's digital, so it takes a second. So whatever edit you wanted to make, okay, you wanted to go in and draw something in here. And I'm not great on the freehanding stuff, but I'm gonna draw in a swale down through here and then edit that, make some notes there and save it. Then that would be in the site box for everyone to be able to see. And also on your notifications, everybody, you can turn notifications on or off, but whoever has them there gets a notification of any edits made or changes made to their email once a day.
And who was asking the question about the SWIP? I'm sorry, I can't see, and I want to address you correctly.
Yeah, this is Lance over here in Gallatin. So Lance, Courtney, and Rick over in Gallatin.
Yes, sir. Yeah. So if you didn't want to upload, if you just uploaded the SWIP as a PDF, you could use those annotative tools. I know it's not quite as easy as using a pen sometimes, but there is a typing feature as well. So if you wanted to type in and redline something and type in a little text box right next to it, you just download that set that you annotated, that SWIP that you annotated, and re-upload it, and that would be the revised SWIP.
Okay.
Another question came in about how are inspection reports done. Currently with this, we're not advertising this as an inspection software. You could, take the prior inspection, open it, make some edits on it and then do a save as potentially. But in most cases, you're probably using whatever inspection software you have, whether that's a manually done or using one of the, SWIP track or whatever it may be out there, creating a PDF and just uploading that to Digital Sightbox at the end of the day. Saves you having to go back on site, open up the binder, put it back in, make sure it doesn't get wet, kind of thing. But yeah.
Right. So to be clear, like we 100% have the intention of using this for inspections. However, we do not have internally, because again, forms change, requirements change based on the municipalities as well. So it'd be hard for us to create one form that met everyone's needs. So like for the case that just pulled up, you'd still use your DHEC form in South Carolina, and then you would upload it instead of having to print it off, drive it out to the site. It's there. There's no more wait anymore. So it's not do the inspection Monday, come back to the office, type it up, and then that inspection report gets put in the next Monday. Whenever I go out for the next week, you can get back to the office, upload it right away.
Yep. Yeah, like I said, you could use the PDF editor, but it's a little bit cumbersome to do that currently. Like Tom said, down the road, good chance we'll have our own, version of some sort of inspection software incorporated. But right now, our focus is simply replacing that antiquated on-site job box with the issues that everybody knows it has, with the kind of bring it into the digital age and with a very user-friendly way to do. So seen a good many comments from, looks like mostly consultants as best I can tell. Love to hear from the municipal side too. Any thoughts or concerns that you may have with this? I think the what we were looking for when we set this up was primary purpose was to introduce it to regulatory side and, find out if people would be comfortable, in Tennessee as an option to the traditional sight box. Question is coming in, is anyone using this alongside the traditional sight box? I'm sure they are. Thomas, I don't have any
Yeah.
direct
So
of that, but yeah.
when we first rolled this out earlier this year with our first municipality, they requested that just in case, still have the traditional analog sight box there. However, it's proved capable and, to be frank, more capable than what the current solution is. So a lot of people have gotten rid of the traditional one in lieu of this. Again, the only situation where I would see, sorry, I was reading another chat. The only reason where I would see a traditional sight box being a better solution, and this is temporary, is internet access or cell phone reception. But yes, ma'am, I hope that clears up your question for you.
Yep. Yeah. Like I said, we do know, I've seen no more excuses for them to say they're SWIP and twice weekly reports were stolen.
I like that. That's
yeah,
funny.
it does. And I'll be honest, as I, from coming from the consulting world, sometimes we like to have a little buffer to get away with some things, and this definitely, minimizes that. So, but it also makes it really easy to not have to get away with things and just to get it done.
Right.
I will say, North Carolina, South Carolina, and Georgia have approved this, just because a lot of times people don't want to be the first one to break new ground. We're based in Greenville, South Carolina, so we focused on South Carolina first. The state gave us approval. Most MS4s in South Carolina now have accounts. We're starting to see some of the inspectors say, at pre-cons, hey, you're going to use that new digital sight box thing. We kind of, like having that access from our office, and they're not to the point of requiring it, and we're not necessarily, saying that they should, but we're definitely getting feedback from the inspectors and the municipal side that it's a very useful tool and making their job a little bit easier. Instead of having to drive to every site, open that box, find the latest inspection report, see what the inspector said was the problems, and then, do I need to go to that? Or hey, everything's all hunky dory and I didn't even need to show up. I could do that from my office and focus the attention on the sites that need the attention, and the sites that are doing a good job. Obviously, you're going to still spot check occasionally to make sure they're accurate on their inspection reports. But, all inspectors know, the inspectors that are very accurate and some that give a little bit of room sometimes. So yeah. All right. Well, we'd be glad to answer any other questions you may have. Like I said, told Charlene that this would be a challenge to fill an entire hour for you, but we're happy to stay on and dive deeper or answer any other questions. Again, the municipal folks that are on here, we encourage you to, go ahead and get signed up.
If you scan the sign as well on your mobile device, it should take you to our website.
Yep. But that's free. That way, once sites in your area start using it, you'll have it. And then, hopefully we'll get some feedback here from TDEC and some of the MS4s that, they're good with it. I'd say if anybody's not, let us know. What we don't want to do is take this to, a certain area of the country and tell engineers or contractors, hey, we've got this great new service and you're good to go. And then they put it up and the local folks say, ooh, we don't like that for whatever reason. We're not trying to tell you what you should or shouldn't do. We just want to let you know it's available. I'll be honest, Kentucky has given us a maybe. Most states have said this QR code and how this works is equivalent to readily accessible. That's what most CGPs have that language in, as far as plans being readily accessible. and different opinions on if it's more accessible or not than what would the site box would be. But Kentucky said, let us think about it. And so we're still waiting on an answer from them. So, if any of the folks here in Tennessee do work in Kentucky and want to use it over there, I'm going to tell you to hold off just a little bit. We hopefully will get their approval in the next, few weeks or months. But right now, we're not trying to promote it in Kentucky until we have that. So. Okay.
Great. Any
Charlene?
other questions or comments or anything? That was great. I think this is very interesting. I was really interested to learn about this today.
Yeah, we really appreciate you setting it up. Appreciate everyone that was able to join to consider it and take a look at it.
Yeah, thank you guys. I appreciate y'all.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Yeah. So someone just asked,
yeah.
TDEC said this was okay. I don't have it. What TDEC said is they want a TNSA talk. And so we're not going to say anything that we haven't said. So we'll be following up with TDEC and hopefully get a official, yeah, we're okay with you using it.
From the emails I saw between you all, it didn't seem like it was going to be an issue. So
Okay, perfect.
But I would follow up with them and see what they say before we send that all out. But what I'll do is I'm recording this. So I will send everybody that the recording, and you can share it with folks. And then if you guys are interested, Jamie, we can, we have region meetings that are coming back up. I think December is already done since those are in 2 weeks, but we have them in March, June, September, and December.
Okay.
And we have 6 regions, so maybe this will be something good to go around and talk with those folks too. We normally have a lot of good folks and a lot of people at that. And then we also have the conference. So we have a few ways to get this information out a little bit more too.
Yeah, and I know Luann Tillman works with us. She helps cover Tennessee for us. She may be already at some of those. We're going to get her educated on this as well. She'll be helping us with Tennessee. So
perfect. Well, thank you all for attending today. I will send out all of the information tomorrow along with the video link for you to share with folks. And Jamie, if there's any information that you would like to send me, any information for the folks that are on here today, or anything else, please let me know and send that over. And I'll send this out tomorrow afternoon or tomorrow, maybe before noon. But anyway, just let me know.
Yep, I'll get it to you this afternoon.
Okay, great. And I'll send that out tomorrow morning, you guys. Any other questions or anything before we move on?
Yes, thank you.
Yep.
Welcome.
Okay.
Thanks for the time.
Thanks, guys. Have a good afternoon.
Thank you.
Okay. Goodbye, everybody.
Right, bye-bye.
Happy National Stormwater Day.
Yep.
Bye.
Bye.